Hey guys, I just wanted to talk to you guys today about some of my favorite authors and my favorite books by those authors so that maybe you could get a good sense of what kind of books that I'm interested in. So I have a pretty wide variety of tastes, but we'll just be talking about four authors today. So the first one I'll start with was my very first author love, which is a YA novelist named Tamara Pierce. I don't have any of her books with me here, unfortunately, because I just moved here and most of them are at my parents' house just to keep them safe while I've been moving around. So I'm sorry, sorry for that. But I'm just going to talk to you guys today about a couple of her series, a couple of her books in her series. So the first book series that I truly fell in love with by her was the Circle of Magic series, which follows four young prodigy mages who grow up and find themselves in dire circumstances and are rescued and brought to this school for magic. And they basically learn all about themselves and learn about each other. And it's just a really great, easy, quick read. It's got a lot of emphasis on those relationships being built and the characters themselves, which I love. And they're just generally they're just really good. I've always loved those books. And the other series that I want to talk to you about is on the other side, in the other kind of book series. She's got a really large book series a really large book series that follows the world of Tortal. So Tortal is a kingdom, and one of the books that I absolutely fell in love with is called Terrier. Terrier follows a young kind of police officer in training. She is assigned to two police officers who basically show her the ropes on the streets, and it takes place in a low magic world where they have like medieval levels of technology. So Rebecca Cooper has a little bit of magic, nothing like game breaking, nothing like power gamey, or like OP, nothing overpowered. Rebecca Cooper finds herself in this police academy, working with these cops prowling the street to keep it safe. And she starts hearing about whispers about these kidnappings that have been happening and these mysteries that have been going on beneath everybody's noses, and no one's taking them seriously because they happen in the slums. So she decides that she is going to help those people, even though nobody else is. So she starts to, while she's learning how to be a police officer, she also starts kind of doing a little bit of investigating on her own just to solve this mystery and try to get people to take her seriously and help these people. And it's a really good book. It's the only book I think that I've really, really loved like this that is in the form of a journal. And it's so good. I highly recommend it. Whether you like journals or not, it's amazing. It's fast paced, but there's still lots of character growth and development. And I just cannot recommend it enough. Terrier is such a great book. So transitioning into the next favorite author that I have, I'm going to talk about another YA author. This is a book that my boyfriend and I have been reading together. And it's a pretty recent love of mine, like the last couple of years, and that would be Sarah J Maas. So this is Queen of Shadows. This is the fourth book in the series, and my boyfriend and I are reading it together. We've been reading the books together since from the beginning, I guess. And I am so excited because I have not read Empire of Storms yet because I was waiting for my boyfriend to read these all with me. And I haven't read Tower of Dawn, and I'm so excited because look how far we are. I'm so close, guys. I've been avoiding spoilers like the plague, and I'm so excited to be so close to reading Empire of Storms. I love this book. I love how Selena's character has developed into who she is today, and I just love the relationships and the people, and no one feels two-dimensional. Everyone's so well-developed and well-rounded, and they all feel very real. And my favorite thing about Sarah J Maas is she really writes a strong female main character protagonist who can be badass and physically strong and emotionally, well, you'll see. But she can be like a total badass, and she's not just like a masculine girl. Like, masculine girls are fine, but I'm tired of seeing every action girl be portrayed as like this girl who's not interested in anything girly. Selena likes shopping. She likes nice dresses. She likes fine clothes. She likes the theater and music and being pampered. And that's okay. I mean, you try to tell Selena that she can't have that. She'd wreck you. I mean, no one's going to tell Selena that. So yeah, these books are just great. They can be a little bit dark, especially for YA novels. So that's something to keep in mind. But yeah, I highly recommend these books. They're great, and I'm so excited. Stay tuned. The next author I'm going to tell you guys about is an author that my boyfriend recommended to me. This is an author he has loved forever, and that would be Terry Pratchett. In case you haven't noticed, there's a couple of his books behind me. Declan owns almost all of the Discworld series, and we're getting me into them, and I love them. They're so good. I don't know what to say. They're great. And Terry Pratchett is very funny. He's got a lot of tongue-in-cheek humor. Sometimes he kind of is satirical, and sometimes he's just straight up just funny. He uses his footnotes a lot when he writes, which is a little bit different and took me a little while to get used to, especially because I started the series at The Color of Magic, which has a lot of footnotes and exposition in the footnotes. And I didn't really get it at first, so that kind of took me out of the book, kind of broke immersion a little bit. But the more that you read of him, the better he gets and the more used to the style you get, and it is amazing. I think my first Terry Pratchett love was Mort, which follows Death and his apprentice, and it's so good, so good. You guys need to read it. Terry Pratchett has been great. If you're looking to transition a little bit from the YA books into adult books, I highly recommend reading the Tiffany Aching books. I believe the first one is called We Free Men, and it follows this young shepherdess witch, and she's great. And so in the Discworld series, there's like 40 books, and he follows different characters at different points, so you don't really have to read it chronologically as long as you read like specific character sets chronologically. Like don't read the Tiffany book, like the later Tiffany books before the early Tiffany books. So stuff like that. So he's got some are about this character who's named as Rincewind. He's a wizard and he isn't very good at it. But he, in this book, goes to China. I don't think they call it China in the book, but it's highly alluded to the fact that it's China. And so this follows Rincewind. He's basically like a cowardly wizard. There's also a book series that follows a group of witches. They're really, really funny. I highly recommend them. They're fantastic. Yeah, so, and there's the Guards series. Guards is so funny. I highly recommend looking at that one. If you like Terrier, you should definitely read Guards. They're so good. Okay. So that's Terry Pratchett. The next book and last author that I want to talk to you guys about is a historical fiction writer. I really enjoy historical fiction, but when I was young, I read so much so quickly that I am horribly, horribly sick of Victorian England and French historical fictions. They're like all the same to me. I'm sorry. If you have one that stands out, please, by all means, message it below or like tell me about it, because I want to get into them. I love historical fiction, and it's so hard to find ones that aren't about English people and French people. So by all means, let me know. But anyway, the author that I'm talking about today is Michelle Moran. So Michelle Moran writes specifically about strong women in history. She really has a focus on young women, so specifically ones who aren't talked about a lot. This one follows a young girl from India who finds herself training to try to become a part of the Queen of India's elite royal guard, who specifically follows the Queen. It's a group of trained women warriors, and this is such a good book, guys. It takes place during the colonization of India, and so there's some really great parts and like heartwarming parts. There's also some heartbreaking parts. It's just a really well-rounded book. I highly recommend that you pick it up and give it a read. The cover is obviously spectacular. Look at how beautiful that is. She makes a couple really good political points in it as well. or like social points in it as well, I guess, that I really appreciated and really stuck with me. But I'll talk more about that another day. And it's just great. The main character has a lot of physical power. It's got a lot of politics in the background because it has to do with royalty and because there's political stuff in it. And it has a lot of like social vying for power as well. So it's really a well-rounded book. So that is a really good book. And Michelle Moran also writes several Egyptian historical fictions that are fantastic. I particularly love The Heretic Queen, which follows Nefertari, which is a figure in history that I've talked about for years and loved for years. And so when I discovered that there was a book written about her, I was so excited. And there's also another one about Nefertiti, and there is a book called Cleopatra's Daughter, which is also amazing. I will discuss more of these books at length because I adore them, but Cleopatra's Daughter is about Cleopatra's children after her and Mark Antony get killed, or after they die, and the children get taken to Rome as kind of like trophies of war, and it follows their lives as they grow up in their conqueror's household. So I highly recommend Michelle Moran. The best thing about her books is that at the end of every book, she has a historical notes section where she discusses what in the book was historically accurate and what was not, what she took fictional liberties with, and what she didn't have enough information on, and therefore chose to try to do to the best of her ability based on the information that she had. So yeah, Michelle Moran, guys, it's amazing. Tell your friends. She's so great. And I hope that some of you guys relate to that, especially Michelle Moran, just because I never hear about other people talking about her books and they're so amazing, and I don't know why no one else seems to be excited about them, because they're so exciting. Anyway, I hope that you like them, and let me know what your favorite authors are down below, and if you enjoy any of the authors that I talked about. And I want to talk about books. Let's talk about some books. Okay, thanks. Bye. Until next time.